Good morning, all. I'm here drying off pump parts, getting ready to pump, and so I was like, well, why not, try to get these thoughts off my mind really quick while I have the time and my daughter is occupied. I gave her the iPad with the iPad pencil and let her get in Procreate, and I taught her how to like draw and feel like I just taught her a lot of stuff in Procreate. So she's over there being creative. So I'm like, okay, my son just fell asleep. Um, but so today, the question that the ladies and I are going over, um, one of the questions is, what are some things from your past that are affecting your marriage? And I really thought that was interesting because something actually came up for me this week. I don't know how it transpired, but I just remember just kind of sitting with my emotions and some things I had felt earlier this week, and wanting to talk to my husband. We haven't got to talk yet, but I guess we'll talk this weekend. We may actually record the conversation and put it up. So there's that. But I was just really thinking about one of the things in our relationship that kind of have like hurt my feelings. And although there's parts of it that are valid, I was able to realize this week like why it stung a little bit more. So, for example, okay. I don't know, maybe I should just use the actual, I'm over here trying to give an example. Like, maybe I should just use the real life example. Okay, so there is something in my marriage that, I feel like my husband, he's not the best in that department. And and the thing about the trauma is, it makes you like miss out on the other stuff that they're doing because you're so focused on like this other thing that they're not doing. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, although that what I feel is valid, I'm trying to be a little vague because I don't want to put everything out there, but I do want to be transparent because it might help someone. But so I am healing from rejection, right? Which definitely spills out into my marriage. Or I'll say it has, and we are working on not allowing it to do that anymore. But growing up, there was like a certain period of my life where I kind of started getting like rejected a lot. And excuse me, bless you. I remember, okay, so like the specific scenario that kind of came up for me was there was this time it was like fourth grade, fifth grade, it was one of those. And so at school we had like those little Valentine's things where you can like buy like chocolates and stuff and like put people's name on it and everything like that. And I remember in fourth grade getting them for like a lot of my friends and just being excited about it. And when the people came around to like pass out stuff, it's like all my friends had some and they had some from each other and they had some from me, but like I didn't get anything. At all. And I remember feeling very embarrassed. I remember feeling like left out, excluded, and just like confused because at this like that the school that I'm talking about was like a very pivotal time in my life where all this stuff started happening. I had not dealt with like rejection from peers or anything like that at the previous school I was going to. In fact, pretty much everyone knew me, so it was just a different dynamic and it came left field for me and I didn't really know what to do with it. But like that specific thing came up for me because I remember the next year that I bought some for myself so I wouldn't feel embarrassed like, oh, nobody got me nothing. Like I made it seem like people were buying me stuff. And so I guess I kind of correlated like love and care and like consideration a little bit into that. Like, well, if people love you and care about you or value you or all this stuff. I saw all these people when it comes to these holidays and our schools doing stuff. People are getting gifts and stuff. So that must mean that this is important. And so I subconsciously for so long held on to that, and it's just now like kind of unraveling in my heart and in my mind as I'm growing and I'm healing and I'm asking the Most High for revelation. But that has definitely affected my marriage, because my husband, he's very good about a lot of things, but there's like this one specific thing that him and I talk about, and I do definitely think that a lot of it is rooted in that specific scenario. And again, like, my feelings are valid about it, but it's like, do I really want that because I want that? Now I'm like thinking to myself, do I really want that because I want that? Or have I correlated that somehow into being important because of that time in my life? So I'm trying to work that out and see. And like the thing is that thing shows up in more than just like my marriage, and it heightens offense. Like, anything that you're traumatized by is going to be like a heightened offense. Like, it might be offensive, and there's things that are offensive, but like when you've been hurt in an area multiple times, usually when you get stung in that area, it's just like a heightened thing, because now you're carrying all the other stuff into this one offense. And it's not really fair on the person, because it's like, I understand I might have hurt your feelings and maybe whatever, but like that intense feeling started a long time ago and it has nothing to do with me. So as I realized that about other people, I realized that about myself. Like, oh, like I'm kind of carrying like the sting from all that other stuff into my marriage. And that's not fair to the people around us. That's not fair to our partners, because we have, a lot of us women have absent fathers. We never got words of encouragement. We deal with abandonment. And even if you have both parents in your house, people still deal with abandonment because maybe the father wasn't nurturing, the mother wasn't nurturing. And I've heard about a lot of people still being messed up in their 2-parent household because the lack of love. So it's not always, oh, somebody's missing from that household. Sometimes it's just like neglect. And so we start seeking validation. We can perceive rejection where it's not. And then again, even if something is valid, that it becomes a little bit heightened. Which I want to talk more about on my own personal platform, because there's a very specific scenario that's like, wow, perfectly highlights it. And so we get fragile. A lot of us get fragile egos, or at least become fragile. Is it fragile or fragile? In certain areas. And we essentially are trying to get our partners, get people around us to give us what we missed in development, and we don't see it like that. Like, a lot of our love language is like us trying to soothe our wounds. A lot of it is, and subconsciously we're just trying to get what we missed, and nobody can fill that void but the Lord. And so I just wanted to know, wanted to ask, or I don't know, if y'all ever thought about the stuff that you carry and how it affects your marriage and even our relationship with the Father, like, how does that affect our relationship? Because for me personally, I got into this, I got into this space of like, Most High, why does this keep happening to me, and this and that, and I didn't realize it, but in those years, I would ask him, like, why are you allowing this? Like, why are you doing this to me? Like, you don't want me to feel loved? Like, what's up? Like, I thought you loved me, so why aren't you having people pour into me that way? But he allowed me to continue to receive kind of like nothing in the areas that I was like so deeply searching for, because he wanted to fill those up. He didn't want me to have friends fill that space with their words, my husband fill that space with their words or their gestures, or just getting validated in the ways that it's always gonna be there. It's like people have to continue to do it, otherwise every time you don't have that, it's like you feel that heavy feeling again. Whereas he loves us enough to not let us get this thing that we feel like we want to self-soothe. That way he could take up that space and we can give it to him. That's all. I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear about your guys' experience in the comments if you feel like sharing. Y'all have a blessed day.